Yes, field-tested frying pan. And then we get 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this deck is so good. It's so cool. Unknown events are my favorite thing to do at MagicCon. The hand-stickered playtest cards are so whimsical and fun to play with that I get really excited when that black packet of boosters get handed to me. And this time, at MagicCon Chicago, as I opened up the pack, I started reading this really interesting artifact card called the Rebellious Intelligence. Rebellious. What a funny name. The card has the creature type Rebel, and that's when I started getting this sneaking suspicion. And when I read the rest of the card, it says that on your upkeep, you get to add a card you own from outside the game into your hand at random. And then you get to tap it to make WUBRG, but that mana cannot be spent on generic costs. That's Jiggy mana. And that's when I knew I became a Magic card. So it turns out I'm like a really fun commander. And when I came back from Chicago, I immediately wanted to build a commander deck about me. But how would I go about doing that? What do I do about the upkeep triggered ability? And that's when I came with the idea. Since we're already playing with an illegal playtest commander, why not go all the way? We made a web app to conjure a card into your hand from a database of cards I curated from every deck I've designed and played in every format. But more on that later. Let's take a look at this deck. The deck I built here is made on a budget, so it should be a lot easier for you to acquire the cards. Okay, so knowing that we are playing off a side deck that is conjuring kind of all my favorite cards, I wanted to make this deck that we're playing with do 2 things. First, we want to get as many of those upkeep triggers as possible to conjure more cards into our hand, and we can do this a few ways. So over here, we have a bunch of different options that can directly copy the trigger ability. So if we have Abstruse Archaic, that can copy my upkeep trigger because I'm colorless. Adric copies triggered abilities. Kadric here does 2 things. It makes the legend rule not apply to tokens we control, and we're gonna have ways to copy me to have more conjure abilities and also tap for more mana. And also we can get copies of like other cards. So there's a lot of things we want. Lithoform Engine, same thing, copy a triggered ability to put another card in hand. Essentially like all these copy effects, just like imagine they're just draws. We have Paradox Haze for another upkeep, of course. Roaming Throne, you select Rebel, and then you get double the triggered ability. Sakashima copies me. Shronic Resonator copies my ability. The Peregrine Dynamo copy my ability. So a lot of ways to copy directly my ability to conjure more cards. But we're also not here to just like copy me. Because we have a side deck of all my favorite cards, what I want to do is make sure that we get as many copies of those cards as possible. So we have a lot of tech there. So for the copy theme, we have stuff like Double Major, which just copies a creature spell that we control. So when a Seeker's Chariot attacks, we create a token that's a copy of target token we control. That's a mouthful. We can copy stuff like Double Major and also other cards we're going to see. Gandalf Westward Voyager. So this one is just basically like when we play a big spell, each opponent reveals top card of their library, and if any of those cards shares a type, we get to copy that spell and choose new targets. And then we get to draw cards. So this isn't necessarily copying our own spells, but what is cool about this is that we get to play off our opponent's decks, and because this deck has a lot of copying abilities, it's like kind of cool to do that. Irenicus's Vial Duplication is just like a copy spell I like, so it just makes a token. If it's a legendary, it's not, so I can make a token copy of me. Jaxis is another source of copying creatures we control, so we can conjure a Grief, discard a card that we have, and we don't care about our cards from the main deck. So we can copy like a Grief or whatever we draw or we conjure. Cast Dissident Mage is so that when we conjure the card and cast it, we can have cast to recast it out of our graveyard, which is kind of cool. Mimic Vat is if we conjure a creature we like, then we can imprint that creature onto Mimic Vat to get more copies of it. So if you conjure a Grief, let's start griefing the table. Mirror Image is a clone. Riku of Two Reflections, copy a creature or a spell on the stack. Soul Foundry, kind of same thing as Mimic Vat. So if we have a card we like in our hand that we conjured, we can play Soul Foundry, imprint it, make copies. It's pretty cool. Thousand Year Storm, it can't be a deck about me if there's no storm element. So I think this is a cool enchantment where we can conjure a bunch of instant sorceries and just like cast all of them. If there's a way that you can like storm off with this deck, knowing that we're conjuring out of like another deck, like good job. Volo Guide to Monsters is cool because whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control in your graveyard, you copy that spell. And most likely, you're not going to get the same one. So just gives us more, copies of creatures we're conjuring. And Zevlor is really cool because the side deck has a lot of 60 card kind of staples or spells. So Zevlor makes it so that you can Thoughtseize a table and like make those 60 card like single target spells way better. Then lastly, some other copy cards I have is copy Artifact to copy me. You do need Sakashima in play for this though. Copy Enchantment is mainly for Paradox Haze. Delina is a card I really, really like, and just kind of same thing as Jaxus, just here to copy our creatures. Helm of the Host is a great way to copy me. Mirror Box, because we're copying me, we want to make sure we have stuff like Mirror Box so that the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents we control. Mirror Mockery is just like cool to put on a creature we like. So imagine you have like a Fury and enchant it and attack with it. It's like kind of cool. Spark Double. So we do have some Planeswalkers in our side deck, so just a cool way to copy creatures or Planeswalkers. Some last things I want to go over is just the charms. Because most of this deck you see over here is all about copying stuff, I do want to have a couple spells to interact with the board, but I don't really want to play counter spells or like specifically really good removal because this deck can very easily become like just 5-color good stuff. So what I would like to do is play charms because I think charms are kind of fun and cool and very flexible. And because we have Jeggy and also me to float WUBRG, these are basically like extremely easy to cast. So I think this is like a good balance between like having something to do and like protecting our board and also just like being kind of fun for the deck. So, Bant Charm can destroy artifacts, counter an instant spell specifically. I love Boros Charm because it gives permanents we control indestructible and also can like dome someone for 4. And there's like a bunch of other charms you can check out. So, and the last thing I want to go over is because Jeggy and I both make WUBRG, we have some WUBRG cards. So like Garth One Eye, Legacy Weapon, Maelstrom Nexus, Niv Mizzet Supreme. All these cards we can spend our WUBRG very easily and they're quite good. So Garth gives us like potentially a Black Lotus, which is pretty cool. Legacy Weapon makes it so that we can just exile permanents by tapping me. And if you can imagine, we get like a Legacy Weapon and then have copies of me. We're just like nuking every land, which is very uncool of you to do, but I am known for being uncool. Maelstrom Nexus is cool because the first spell you cast each turn has Cascade. So we can conjure a card, cast it, then get another spell with it. And most of our spells copy stuff, so it's cool. Then lastly, Niv Mizzet Supreme. This gives each instant and sorcery card in our graveyard that's exactly 2 colors jumpstart. So if we're able to conjure a 2-color card, which we do have some of in the side deck, it just kind of like cast gives us another copy of it. So enough about deck 1. Let's jack into the Rebel Intelligence database and see what we have to play with. So this is the Rebel Intelligence database. This is a list of cards that I will be manually curating and adding to as I design more decks and play more decks. So if you decide to play this deck and use the Webapp, ideally, there's going to be new cards being added. But if you can experience like all 600 cards here, or like 567, like I don't know, you've been playing this deck a bit too much. I'm not going to go through every card here, but I just want to give you like a quick idea of like what it kind of looks like. So you can see there are Planeswalkers, and a lot of it comes from just decks I've built for CDH, decks I've played in Modern and other formats. And it comes from all kinds of sources, like Adriana from Old School, Wildpile, Alharu, which I don't even know where it's from. I think it's like Hand in Hand. And then we have cards like Anhava Constable. So this was for the pre-modern commander deck I built for Sheldon for Shuffle and Play. So those kind of cards are here too. And I think the important part about like what makes this really fun is that you need to have really good, like exciting hits, like, Adriana, Archangel Thune, and like, I don't know, something else like Brina maybe, or like Bruce Tarl. But you also need cards like this, because then it creates like some cards that are funny and like not really good, and then some cards that are really good, right? So it makes it more exciting, because if every hit is like good, then it's just like kind of boring that way. So I tried to make sure that this list is curated with like a bunch of fun cards, cool cards, so that it has like a good range. You can see this is from like my Diablo 4 deck. We have Brina, Bruised Heart, Lannery Storm, Chorus of the Conclave. I don't even know why this is here. It's pretty exciting to see all this stuff. We have Kosi's Trickster and Curse Catcher from the Merfolk deck I built for Prof. Cosima from my Vehicles deck. Just like everything is here. So we're not gonna go through everything. What the point of showing all of this is that you get a sense of what's available here. You can hit an Imp Seal, or you can also just hit, I don't know, a Pirate's Pillage. That's the full database over here, and I'm gonna keep adding more cards here. But I think what will be fun is that we show off like how this all works together. So for those who want to play this deck, you can access the web app through this URL that I'm gonna put in the description box below. And basically what it's gonna look like is that you pull it up and it looks like this, and all you need to do is hit conjure card, and then it'll just bring up a card. So we hit Final Fortune. That's another one. It's pretty fun actually. Delver's Torch. I love Delver's Torch. Deathrite Shaman. Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. So this is how you're gonna basically resolve the upkeep triggers, is that you hit conjure card, and then you get something from that database. So let's go get a taste of what this deck plays like. So now we're in the Moxfield Tester, and here's our first hand. Let's take a look at what there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. It's 5 mana. That's basically how you mulligan this deck. Is there 5 mana? Can you do it faster than turn 5? Then you're good. If the answer is no to those questions, you mulligan. It's the easiest deck to mulligan. Literally none of the other cards really matter. This hand's extra good because it's a roaming throne. So we'll see how that plays out. Draw. Forest. Pass. Draw. Land. Signet. That doesn't matter. Rampant Growth. Let's go find a land. Let's go find a land. We also already have forest, so we can play Jeggy. Okay, let's get a mountain. I feel like getting a mountain. Boom. Okay. Next turn, draw a card. 1, 2, Signet. Oh, actually, no. We don't even need to ramp anymore. We just play this roaming throne. Rebel. Draw. Twilight Mire. Tap out. Play me. Play me. Where is me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Next turn. All right, let's go. Let's go. Hopefully no one does anything to you. This deck's like pretty bad, by the way. 1. Next turn, untap everything. We upkeep trigger. Conjure 2. Let's go. We'll refresh. Card number 1. Demonic Tutor. Let's go. Card number 2. Wernog Rider's Chaplain. Okay. Uh-oh. I don't know how to oh, we can do it here. All right, let's go add Demonic Tutor, create token, and then Wernog. All right, we have these 2 cards. Then we draw for turn. Oh, this deck's so good. Oh, Maelstrom Nexus. Let's go. Command Tower, WUBRG, Maelstrom Nexus. All right. I'm gonna do more triggers and first spell. So we're going to DT. I'm gonna keep this on the side because the Demonic Tutor gets destroyed. Cascade till we hit a 2. We get a Signet. And then bottom. Now we DT. DT for shuffle, haze, hand. 1, 2, 3, haze. This 2 pays for Wernog. This 3 pays for Paradox Haze. Play Wernog. All right, what does Wernog do? ETBs, each play opponent may investigate. And then I don't really care. Okay, sure. We have a Wernog. Next turn, let's go. Okay, untap everything. Now we get upkeep 1. Conjure 2, let's go. 1. Insidious Will. Let's go. Stoneforge Masterwork. Okay. And then, what does Paradox Haze say? Oh, we have another upkeep? Yeah, let's go. 2 more. Arcane Laboratory. Okay. Burn Offering. Ooh, all the good cards. And then we draw. Boros Charm. We'll play Prov. So what we'll do is we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that work? Yeah, it works. I can probably tap my mana better, but whatever. Gandalf, Cascade, 1. Farseek, let's find a land. Who cares? tapped. Now we have a Gandalf. Then we'll tap 2, play this. And it's 5 or greater, right? So it doesn't do anything. Then on our opponent's turn, oh, actually we tap our mana better, then we can Insidious Will something. Then Gandalf again. All right, we'll take one more turn. Untap. Upkeep. Conjure 1. Oh yeah, okay. Conjure 2. Mystic Remora. Oh, this is all the good cards. And then upkeep number 2. Conjure 1. Arcane Denial. Another siege staple. Number 2. Desertion. Oh, this is like very controlling. And then we're gonna draw a card. Do we want to draw a card? No, we do not. We're gonna Vamp Tutor. We're gonna Vamp Tutor, Cascade Trigger. There's nothing to Cascade because there's no zeros. And then we're gonna find Kess. Find a Kess. Play Kess. Okay, we have a Kess. Can we DT right now? Oh, I forgot. I pay for costs. That's what this whole deck's supposed to be doing. Okay, we'll DT. We'll flashback the DT and then find a, I don't know. Well, let's just find Sakashima. There, Sakashima. Shovel. WUBRG. And then look, no one's gonna counter spells, right? Float the double, turn the green into double green, who cares? So that's 1, 2, 3, and the blue pit base for Sakashima. Sakashima copy this. All right. We'll take one more turn after this because this is pretty sick. Untap. We conjure 4 cards per upkeep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, field tested frying pan. And then we get 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll draw a card. Land. We also have double WUBRG. Oh, and then we can flashback Vamp Tutor on the draw. Oh, this deck is so good. It's so cool. Okay. Our board state's kind of wild, so we'll call it good here. So that's today's deck. I'm going to be playing this on other channels. I think I'm going to build it. I'm probably just going to play it at my LGS too. It's going to be a permanent deck I have because it's pretty fun. If you want to do this and you don't have access to the Rebellious intelligence, I recommend that you just use a piece of paper and write on it and make your own playtest card. I fully approve that. You know, using my RC CAG powers, it's legal. It's legalized for you. If anyone doubts it, just show them this video and it's legal. And also, if you don't want to use the app to conjure cards, then the other way I would love to do this, that anyone can do, is I love precons. So I would recommend that you just put a precon on the side and rip cards from that precon randomly. I think that'd be pretty fun too. Just make sure whatever you do, it's mostly geared towards fun and you like the cards. Try not to make it too broken. I know it's very easy to do. Don't forget to subscribe for fun deck techs and good deck techs. I guess good is like, I don't know, relative. Subscribe to my Patreon, you know? It's cool. Do it.